Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ali and here I just talk to myself about books and then maybe you may or may not watch this at a later date. Today I'm going to be trying to pick out a selection of books which I may or may not read whilst on holiday. It's not a full-on TBR because I like to have options, so I'm very much going to be over choosing. And yeah, let's get started. So yes, as I said, due to go on holiday soon, and I'm going away for 2 weeks, so not the 3 months that it'll look like when I show you the selection of books I've kind of come up with. But I do like to have options. I do read a lot more usually when I am on holiday because I can finally switch off from work and life and responsibilities, and if I'm on the beach I'll just read. So I am being overly ambitious, but there is a method to my madness. I also, as I said, want to have options. I want to be able to kind of mood read while I'm there and have things accessible. I will not be taking all of these books physically with me. I will have some on Kindle. However, I'll probably take maybe like 3 or 4 physical copies because I do like to hold books as well. However, I do also always tend to buy a book at the airport, and then when I'm in Italy, which is where I'm going, I also always tend to buy at least like a couple of books in Italian because, well, when else am I going to get them? Otherwise they're hard to get in the UK and the shipping is insane. So yeah, I guess I'll just take you through the books that I kind of want to try and read while I'm on holiday, but it's not a solid TBR because there are many. So first of all, and this is a must, so this is probably the one book that I'm like 100% need to read while I'm there, and that is actually an Italian book. It's called The Blood of the Immortals. This is book 2 in an epic fantasy series. It is set in Sardinia, which is where I will be going on holiday. However, it's like a fantasy version of Sardinia. But I really enjoyed the first book and I have been waiting for this one for a while. Obviously I couldn't get it in the UK, so when I went to Italy earlier this year I got a copy finally. However, I think it has been out for about 1.5 years now, so I'm quite behind, and I think there's one more to come and then the trilogy will be complete. So yeah, as I said, it is set in Sardinia. Here we have the fantasy version of Sardinia here. And yeah, very excited. It's a multi-POV story. It follows a few different characters as kind of they navigate this world and like these dangers that are approaching from foreigners, which I'm assuming is the mainland. And yeah, their stories start to kind of like converge and come together. There is a prophecy. It's all very cool. I like it. So yeah, I'll definitely be reading this one like 100% whilst I'm there. The other thing I really wanted to do was to try and finish some of the series that I've had long-standing open on my shelves. So the first 2 are romanticises. So we have book 2 in the Lore of the Wilds series by Anneliese Brauner. This is Lore of the Tides. This is book 2 of a duology, so I do really want to read this because I want to just wrap it up. I did quite enjoy book 1. It did end on a bit of a cliffhanger, so I've been, I don't know why I've been putting this off, I just haven't been picking it up, but I am quite excited. It's also aquatic themed, I think, which I think is quite like topical given the fact that I will be going somewhere beachy. This is obviously the stunning Fairy Loot edition. And yeah, I am quite excited to read this. Can I 100% remember what happened in book 1? No. However, I will be rereading a summary prior to going back into it. So yes, this is one of the 2. For Lore of the Wilds, again, I'll read you the first blurb because I don't want to spoil it, but in a land ruled by the ruthless Fae, 21-year-old Laure Alemieux Alamayu's village is trapped in a forested prison. Law knows that any escape attempt is futile. Her scars are a testament to her past failures. But when her village is threatened, Law makes a desperate deal with a Fae Lord. She convinces him that she will risk her life for wealth, but really she's after the one thing that Fae covet above all, magic of her own. As Law navigates the hostile world outside of a village, she's forced to rely on 2 Fae males to survive. When undeniable chemistry ignites, she's not just in danger of losing her life, but also her heart to the very creatures she can never trust. Oh yeah, there was like a love triangle. I say love triangle? I don't really know. Love triangle in this one. And as I said, it did end on quite a cliffhanger in relation to that. And then the other one is Fallen Stars by Imani Orio. I believe there actually might be a 3rd book in this series now. But anyway, this is book 2. First book being oh my god, brain. Heavenly Stars? Heavenly Bodies. Heavenly Bodies. Yes. So this is book 2 to Heavenly Bodies. Again, another like romantasy book, which I did quite enjoy. These are probably some of the most stunning books I own. Like, it's just insane. And again, I think this one's also somewhat aquatic themed, because whilst the first one was very celestial, this is celestial but with a nautical theme to it, which again, very topical. So it was almost like it was meant to be. But yes, this is book 2. Book 1 also ended on a bit of a cliffhanger, so I'm quite excited to pick this up. Heavenly Bodies, again, look how stunning this is. Like, honestly, I will never get over these books. They're just so pretty. Like, the prettiest books ever made. So, in a world ruled by the stars, cruel and merciless gods, Elara has been cursed by fate. A prophecy promises she will fall for a star and it will kill them both. When the star of wrath and war descends to hunt Elara, the neighbouring kingdom sees an opportunity to take her from her home, the kingdom of night, to Helios, the kingdom of light, where she strides straight into the arms of an enemy prince. There, Elara is forced to either let Prince Lorenzo train her into a weapon worthy of battling against the tyrannic reign of the stars, or to accept her fate. But there are shadows even within the Kingdom of Light, and they threaten to reveal the darkness in Lorenzo's past and the ancient magic that slumbers in Elara's veins, and with it all, the undeniable star-crossed pull between them. I did really like this one. This was probably one of the kind of romantasies that I did actually end up really enjoying. Did this come in the romantasy subscription? I literally can't remember. I think it did. Basically, when I first originally got Fairy Loot, I managed to get onto I signed up for the adult one for ages, and then when the romantasy one first came out, I signed up for that and I got onto it pretty quickly, as in once they actually started letting people onto it. And I think the first book we got was Lore of the Wilds, and I did end up liking it. I can't remember if Heavenly Bodies was part of the romantasy sub or if it was just another sub, but I think it may have been. However, out of like all the romantasy subs, those 2 are the only ones really I have liked. I am now also a little bit toying with the idea as to whether or not I want to keep the adult sub. I do have the epic fantasy one, which I do really enjoy. I've also recently tried out the cozy fantasy one, the first book being something I hadn't heard of but does sound cute, and I am going to read it. But I find that a lot of the adult sub picks are like romantasy or fantasy with heavy romance, and I'm not one to kind of throw around the word romantasy. Like, when I say romantasy, I mean that probably romance is the main focus of that story, rather than it's fantasy with elements of romance, which I prefer. And I have found that I don't tend to enjoy the really heavy romance stories quite as much, in the same way that I don't tend to probably like romance books that much. I'm not a huge romance reader. I do have some, Ali Hazelwood being a very go-to because it's more like rom-com. Same thing with B.K. Borison, but I just really enjoy their style of writing. However, overall, romance is not kind of a genre that I generally drift towards, and that's the same for it if it's in a fantasy setting. It doesn't change it for me. So yes, anyway, segue, but yes, so there are now, my plan is, as I said, to finish this series. I say to finish it, I'm pretty sure there's another book coming out, but read book 2 to finish this one because it is a duology. Again, I don't think I will be taking either of these very nice special editions on holiday and to the beach with me, so I'll probably get them on Kindle. But I am excited to read this. Sorry, I'm just looking at the art. It's just such a stunning book. And then the other one I really want to finish is the Bone Shard Daughter series. So I read the Bone Shard Daughter, gosh, I want to say like maybe nearly 2 years ago now. Really liked it. And then I only had book one at the time, and then I actually ended up getting the entire series through my Broken Binding subscription, and they are beautiful. So I have been, again, not putting it off, but just forgetting to pick it back up again. I did really like it, and I want to finish it, so I am aiming to try and read the Bone Shard Emperor and the Bone Shard War whilst on holiday as well, thus finishing another trilogy in its entirety. I will read you the blurb for the Bone Shard Daughter, because otherwise it's spoilers. So the Sukai dynasty has ruled a Phoenix Empire for over a century, the mastery of bone shard magic powering the monstrous constructs that maintain law and order. But now the Emperor's rule is failing and revolution is sweeping across the Empire's many islands. Lyn is the Emperor's daughter, but with a mysterious illness has stolen her childhood memories and her status as heir to the Empire. Trapped in a palace of locked doors and old secrets, Lyn vows to reclaim her birthright by mastering the forbidden art of bone shard magic. But the mysteries behind such power are dark and deep, and wielding her family's magic carries great cost. When the revolution reaches the gates of the palace itself, Lyn must decide how far she is willing to go to claim her throne and save her people. And from what I recall, there's also another character that is kind of like a main character, and they definitely have like this frenemy vibe. I think he's like her adopted brother or something, I can't remember. But yes, I did really, really enjoy it. So having read book one, I would like to read book 2 and 3 and kind of finish that. Those are so far the books I kind of really would like to get to and finished whilst on holiday. And then come the extra options. So extra options we have. So sorry, just to show you again. These are the books I want to definitely read whilst on holiday. However, because I am predominantly a mood reader, I do like to have options, and it is summer. So first of all, I don't have it up here actually, I have it downstairs and I forgot to pick it up. One book I would 100% be rereading, and it won't take me long because I've read it so many times, is The Lover Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. I love it. The film adaptation's coming out at the end of September, 23rd to be precise, and I want to reread it again before that comes out. Like I don't already know exactly what happens and when, but anyway, I do want to reread it, so that will probably be one of the books that I reread again. And then whilst we're on Ali Hazelwood, we have Check and Mate. I haven't read this. This is her YA one, which I think is the only YA romance she's done. And I haven't picked it up yet, so I thought why not have it in the mix as an option in case I'm feeling kind of rom-com-y. So this follows Mallory. She is done with chess. Every move counts nowadays. After the sport led to the destruction of her family 4 years earlier, Mallory's focus is on her mum, her sisters, and the dead-end job that keeps the light on. That is until she begrudgingly agrees to play one last charity tournament and inadvertently wipes the board with notorious king killer Nolan Sawyer, currently world champion and reigning bad boy of chess. Nolan's loss to an unknown rookie shocks everyone. What's even more confusing, his desire to cross pawns again. What kind of gambit is Nolan playing? The smart move would be to walk away, resign, game over, but Mallory's victory opens the doors to sorely needed cash prizes, and despite everything, she can't help feeling drawn to an enigmatic strategist. As she rockets up the ranks, Mallory struggles to keep her family safely separated from the game that wrecks in the first place. And as her love for the sport she so desperately wanted to hate begins to rekindle, Mallory quickly realises that the games aren't only on the board. The spotlight is brighter than she imagined, and the competition can be fiercely attractive and intelligent and infuriating. So yes, I would like to have this in the mix as an option. And again, in the rom-com space. I say rom-com, I think this is less rom-com, more romance, but anyway, I am willing to give this author another shot. I did like Book Lovers by Emily Henry, and I maybe didn't like it as much as everybody else, but it was cute and I enjoyed it, so I want to try Happy Place. So here we have, again, another beachy rom-com vibe read. So Harriet and Wynne are the perfect couple. They go together like bread and butter, gin and tonic, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. Every year they take a holiday from their lives to drink far too much wine with their favourite people in the world, except this year they are lying through their teeth because Harriet and Wynne broke up 6 months ago and they still haven't told anyone. But the cottage is for sale, and so this is the last time they'll be all here together. They can't bear to break their friends' hearts, so they fake it for one more week. But how can you pretend to be in love and get away with it in front of the people who know you best? So I think this is a second chance romance. Obviously it's only been 6 months, but still. So I've heard mixed things about it, but I feel like the people that I trust the most in the book community really enjoyed it, and I therefore think that I'm going to enjoy it. Those are options. Another option is a complete series, but it's quite a short one. However, I did pick this out of my book Pot of Fate for the month of September, so if I do get a chance I would like to. However, if I don't, I will take the win that if I've managed to read the Bonechard Daughters trilogy and finish off Law of the Tides, then I will have read 2 series. But anyway, that is the Five Broken Blades series by May Corland. This is like a heist YA story from what I understand. I've heard really good things about it, however I have heard mixed things about how it ends. I've also heard that it's like so running, as in terms of how it's written, it runs through the books, so you have to kind of read them one after the other, otherwise it's kind of quite jarring. So I thought, it's quite short, why not? It's complete. And I have these cute editions from the works, paperback versions. So here we have The King of Yusan Must Die. The 5 most dangerous liars in the land have been mysteriously summoned to work together for a single objective: to kill the god King June. Each has tasted bitterness, from the hired hitman seeking atonement and the lovely assassin who seeks freedom, to the prince banished for his cruel crimes. No one can resist a sweet, icy lure of vengeance. They can agree on murder, they can agree on treachery, but for these 5 killers, each versed in deception, lies, and betrayal, it's not enough to forge an alliance. To survive, they'll have to find a way to trust each other, but only one can take the crown. Let the best liar win. So it does sound fun. My friend read it and she really liked it, so I have been meaning to just pick it up and binge it. So I will add that to the pile. Next is another one that I've completely different vibe for me. This is not fantasy at all. This is contemporary. Is it contemporary? Kind of historical. Okay, historical fiction. But anyway, I have only ever read one book by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and that was Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which I did really like. And this one I keep seeing time and time again. I've bought it from a couple of friends before. I have yet to read it, so I was like, I feel like this would be a really good holiday read, and I want to get to it. So in the summer of 1980, Joan Goodwin begins trying to be an astronaut for Houston Johnson Space Center alongside an exceptional group of fellow candidates. As the new astronauts prepare for their first flight, Joan finds a passion and a love she never imagined and begins to question everything she believes about her place in the observable universe. Then in December of 1984, on mission TST-LR9, everything changes in an instant. So I've heard that it's made people cry. I like to cry when I'm reading books because I love to be emotionally torn. And yeah, again, it's not a long book, so I thought it'd be quite a good one. This is probably one of the ones I'll take with me physically, and let's see how it goes. Then I think in the same vein of continuing series, I have recently read The Songbird and the Heart of Stone. So this is the second book in that duology, which is the second duology in the Crowns of Nyaxia series. So the first 2 being The Serpent and the Wings of Night and The Ashes and the Star-Kissed King. And then there was a novella which I read that I don't remember the name of, but it's somewhere. And then there was The Songbird and the Heart of Stone, and this is the second book. I did really enjoy The Songbird and the Heart of Stone, and I actually think I enjoyed it more than I did The Serpent and Wings of Night and The Ashes and the Star-Kissed King. In general, this series by Carissa Broadbent is, for me, less good than, oh no, I've packed them away, than the Daughter of No Worlds or Broken Hearts. No, the War of the Lost Hearts series, which I really, really loved. But this one has rekindled my love for her writing. Not that I didn't like the first duology, I just didn't enjoy it as much, but this one I've been really liking, so I do kind of want to continue on with the story. This series we follow a character that was a side character in the first duology, and at the end of that series something happens to her, and then we kind of pick up where that leaves off and kind of get a bit more insight into her backstory, her character, her being, and her own kind of budding romance that she develops throughout this series. So the end of the previous book to this one does again end on a bit of a cliffhanger, and I want to get to it as soon as possible, so I will be taking this with me, although it is quite chunky. I feel like I haven't really thought about the number of pages involved in these picks, but here we are. And then another one that I will have around just in case is this one. This is Jurassic Park, which is a classic. I've never actually read it, by Michael Crichton. This is the Waterstones book pick for the Waterstones book club pick for October, so I would like to try and read it at some point in September. It doesn't need to be whilst I'm on holiday, but I thought why not just take it just in case I do get around to it. And so therefore we have this as well. I mean, do I need to say what Jurassic Park is about? It's like a sci-fi book about dinosaurs where they somehow find a way to bring them back to life and create an island where all these dinosaurs are kept, and then, you know, some of them escape and catastrophes happen. But I've never read the book, so I think maybe I might have. I feel like I read it when I was very young, very, very young, but it's time to reread it again. And then another one I'd like to have hanging around just in case I get to it is Warhammer 40k book. So this is part of the Horus Heresy series in Warhammer 40k. This is the... okay, so there's like an initial trilogy in this kind of book series, which is the Horus Heresy, and I've read that, really, really loved it. And then this is kind of the next suggested book, and then after this one you can kind of branch off into different kind of storylines, and then there is different orders of books within those storylines, but you kind of can just read, mix and match however you want. However, this is the next one after that initial trilogy that is recommended in terms of order. So this is The Flight of the Eisenstein by James Swallow. Each book tends to be written by a different author. However, there are authors that have written multiple books for this universe. So having witnessed the terrible massacre of Imperial forces on Istvan III, Death Guard Captain Garrow seizes a ship and sets course for Terra to warn the Emperor of Horus' treachery. But when the fleeing Eisenstein is damaged by enemy fire, it becomes stranded in the Warp, the realm of the dark powers. Can Garrow and his men survive the depredations of chaos, and will his warning of the Emperor before Horus' plan reach fruition? So honestly, this is probably one of the most surprising series for me. I was always like, no, it's Warhammer, it's gonna be like boring or lame or heavy on like sci-fi, and it's not. It's space-based fantasy, and I really, really loved it. It's grimdark, it's really good, really enjoy it. So if you're into kind of dark, grimdark fantasy with some space elements, do really check out this series. Like, I don't see it enough, and maybe I'm not on the right side of BookTok, on the right side of Bookstagram, I don't know, but I just don't see enough people talking about this, and I do love it, and so I do want to put this in the mix. And then I don't know, should I have some more options? I feel like maybe a couple of lighter options would be good. I feel like there are some things on my Kindle already that I could get to if I wanted to. This one actually has been on my radar again to pick up at some point, which is Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. I keep seeing everyone talk about it. I haven't read it, but that could be an option. I just have so many series. I'm also currently reading the last published book in the Bound and the Broken series, which is 1013 pages, and I'm trying to get through it this week, and let's see how that goes, because It's a mammoth book. Very good though, highly recommend. One of my favourite epic fantasy series of all times, and I think everyone should read it. But yeah, we'll see. As I said, I might end up adding a few more options and then probably read like 3 books, but we'll see how it goes. So yeah, in the end, can I even pick these up? I don't know that I can. So these are ones I definitely want to read. And these are the options to give me some mood reading options. So lots and lots of books. I will not be taking all of them physically, as I said, and I'll let you know how I do when I come back. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, please do pop a like, and if you would like to see more, please do subscribe, and I'll see you soon.